Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mr. Ian Teaches English. Today we are going to do a very short crash course on conditionals in English. So we'll talk about the 4 conditionals that we use in English. We'll give some examples, and hopefully this will help you as you create sentences. I have a small audience here that will ask questions, and maybe they are the same questions that you have. Now in English, with conditionals, we do not have a conditional verb tense. We have structures that create conditionals and create feelings. So the first one that we talk about is the zero conditional, and we almost never use it. The zero conditional is used to talk about truth, things that are always true. They are conditions that if you meet the condition, the second part always happens. So for a conditional, for a zero conditional, we use the present tense and the present tense. Okay? So for example, if you heat water, what always happens? If you heat water, like you're making tea, you're making coffee, if you heat the water, it boils every time, right? And this is it's kind of a scientific fact. We use these things for truths or facts, but we don't use it very often outside of science. Now, the first conditional is something that we use very often. The first conditional is about real possibility. So these are things that we believe can really happen. For this one, we use the structure of present and future. So if it rains, I'll stay home. All right, so we have our condition here, and if this condition is met, then we'll do that. But this is a possibility. However, we think it's a real possibility. It's really possible that it will rain, but we're not sure. So maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah. How this possibility 100% can be 5%?
Yeah, so with this one, and these two are connected, but with a real possibility, it's 50-50. Maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. Maybe the condition is met, maybe it won't, but it's possible. So somebody here with a real possibility, if you live in a place where it rains, yeah, real possibility. But when we look at the second one, maybe you live in a place that doesn't have rain, right? Maybe you live in a desert, or maybe you live, in Antarctica or way up north where it doesn't rain very much. And then we would use unreal possibilities, where it's technically possible, it can happen, but we don't think it's going to happen. So for this one, it's a little bit different. We use the past tense in the if part, and then we use would or could plus the base verb. And a famous example of this is, if I won the lottery, I'd buy a car. All right, a nice car though, because you won the lottery, you buy a nice car. So, but these two work together, and it depends on what you think and what you believe about the possibility of it. Now in English, everything's possible. Everything is possible. It's just, do we think it's going to happen? Or do we not think it's going to happen? So somebody might say, if I go to the mall, I'll buy lunch. The possibility of you going to the mall, it's a real possibility. But if I went to the moon, I'd get a space rock.
Why?
Yeah, I'd buy a star or something, yeah. Now, is it possible for you to go to the moon?
It's difficult.
But is it possible?
Yeah.
It is possible. And this is a hard thing sometimes for students in English class, because in English, everything is possible. It's just how possible is it? Is it a real possibility if I go to the mall? Or is it an unreal possibility if I went to the moon? Because for example, let's say Elon Musk comes through the door and he says, hey, I want you to go to the moon this afternoon. Yes, let's go. Is it possible?
Yes.
It's possible, but it's not a real possibility. Nobody has a spacesuit ready in their car if Elon Musk shows up. So we don't count on those things. We do these. We might see a difference in this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for example, this is free. If the government invested more in the school,
Yes.
it would be better.
Yeah.
The second or the first?
Yes. If the government invested more in schools, it would be better. But what that means is you don't think they're going to do it. It's possible, but you don't think they're going to do it. Now, if you were maybe a politician, or maybe you were in control of the money, or maybe you're just an optimist, you believe things can happen, you might use this. If the government invests more money in schools, they will be better. So, same situation, different things. You might have this also, like a rich man might say, if I move to Dubai, I'll buy a fancy car. He's rich, it's a possibility for him. But a poor person, if I moved to Dubai, I'd buy a fancy car. So real possibility for the rich person, not a real possibility for the poor person. And it shows how you feel about that.
Oh, I have a question about why in the second we use past.
Yes.
Yeah. Past.
Okay, great question. Don't think about this like the past.
Because it doesn't happen now and in the past.
Yeah.
And in the future.
Yes.
It's a phrase to say about.
Yes. And so remember that the verb tenses that we use here have no connection with time. They're not regular verb tenses. I mean, they are, but we're using them to create conditionals. So this is in the past, but it doesn't mean we're talking about the past. It means that we are creating a conditional that shows unreal possibility. And yeah, and that's a great point, because when you hear the first part, you would say, oh, it passed. It's a past idea, but it's not. Okay? Now, the magic word here is if. If we did that, if we took that away, and just said, I won the lottery, then yeah, that's past. But if I won the lottery means unreal possibility. Yeah, please.
Wood and food.
Yes.
The meaning that is saying
Not exactly. So let me get some space here. And that's a great question. So would versus could. Would has more to do with your desire and something that you want, or something that is certain because you want it. And could is more to do with your ability. So if I won the lottery, I could buy all of you a new car. I have the money, I have the ability to buy you a new car.
if I jumped the plane, I could fly.
You could fly with the ability, yeah, showing it. But that would show your ability and not your desire. So two different things. If I say, I could buy you a car, okay, I would buy you a car, yeah, right? Because Mr. Ian has the money, but he also wants to do it.
Yeah.
Can I replace it? Might.
Yes, you can. Now, usually we'll use might more for this one because might is a future idea. It's a possibility in the future. But if I won the lottery, I might buy a car. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Usually more commonly, though, could or would. Mhm. All right, now these are the two that we use the most. They're the most common, but there is another one. Any more questions on these before the last one?
Yeah. You just only use if when you say this, or I can use when.
No, when is not a conditional. When means it's going to happen. It's not a conditional. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Now we do have other conditional words. We've got whether or not. We've got even, if, and we've got unless. And I'll explain those in a second. But when is not a conditional idea.
But in this conditional, you only use if.
Yes. Yeah. And it could use these as well, but yeah.
It's not common to use if.
Yes, this is the most common because these have other definitions, and so we can talk about those in a minute. But yeah, if you say, if I go to the store, I'll buy milk, then the person you're talking to cannot rely on the milk. Maybe we have milk, maybe we don't, because it's a condition. Maybe he goes, maybe he doesn't. But when I go to the grocery store, I'll buy milk. Means you will go to the grocery store. You will. It's not a condition. You will go. When you go, at that time, you'll buy milk. So if I say to my wife, if I go to the grocery store, I'll buy milk. She's not going to plan to make a recipe with milk because maybe I have it, maybe I don't. When means she can count on it. She can get the recipe ready. Milk will come at some point. Maybe. Oh, I'm not usually that bad. All right, last one, third conditional. I know we're getting long here. Third conditional is when we talk about impossibilities. These are things that cannot happen. They are impossible, but they are only impossible because they are in the past. So for this one, we use the past perfect. And we use have or, sorry, we use would or could have, and then the past participle. Or it could have in the past participle here. So, it's not the present perfect because it's never has. It's always have because it follows this. So for example, if I had been born in China, I would have spoken Chinese. Okay? But was I born in China? No. Can I go back in time and be born in China? No, it is an impossibility. The only thing in English that is impossible are things in the past that cannot be changed. And that's it. That's all four of them.
With this conditional, you can use the past, right?
With which one?
With the last one, yeah. With this, we use the past perfect and use the time.
Mhm.
You use the time in the past perfect. Because in the last one you say it's past, but it's no
It doesn't mean the
connection
past. Yeah.
with the past.
Yeah.
In this, you have a connection with the past.
Kind of, but the connection with the past is the structure. The structure says this is in the past, it cannot change, therefore it's impossible. Now you can, sometimes native English speakers will mess up these verb tenses sometimes, and sometimes we'll say, if I was born in China, because it's in the past as that idea. But academically, this is it. This is what we do.
Can you use another example would be
Yes. We could say if I had studied English in school, I wouldn't have had to take Mr. Ian's class. Alright? And I hear this sometimes with students like, man, when I was a kid, they said learn English, and I was like, no, that's stupid. Alright? But can you go back in time and study English in your school? No, you had your opportunity, it's gone. So this is an impossibility. You're in my class because you didn't study English at your home country. So you can't change it. And that's it. That's why we call it impossible, because we can't change it. Yeah. Now, real quick, one more tiny thing just to talk about these. Whether or not means if, but we usually use it in other types of sentences. But let me talk about these here real quick. Unless means if not. So if you want to say something doesn't happen or the condition is not met, we would say unless. Unless you are on time, you will not be allowed in class. Which means if you don't come on time. And the other one is even if. This means that there's no condition, the condition doesn't matter. So even if you are late, you can come to class. Even if you don't have the money, you will come with us. So this shows like, yes, there's a condition, but that condition does not matter. I tell this to my kids, right? Even if you do something terrible, even if you go to prison, I'll love you. So I love them now, but if they do something horrible, I still love them. My love is not conditional. There's no conditions on it.
Even if, unless we can use all real possibility, unreal possibility, and
Yeah.
real possibility.
You can use it for all of them.
use all
Now,
of them.
most commonly, you're going to use these. These are the ones that are the most common. And again, some might fit a little bit easier into those definitions because the real possibility, most common one, it's going to be easier to use those in those situations. But they technically have those words. And my kids are funny. My kids say, unless if. They say, Dad, unless if we go. And I say, which one? Unless or if? Because they're opposites. So which one do you mean?
Because even if it rains,
Mm-hmm.
I'll go outside.
Yeah. Even if it rains, I'll go outside. So if it rains, I'll go outside. If it doesn't rain, I'll go outside. It doesn't matter. The condition doesn't matter about the condition. That's it. Any other questions? So far, so good. I love it. All right. And for you online people, put something in the comments. Try one of these sentences. And yeah, see you next time.
And we